So I thought I'd give an update of what I've discovered so far on my journey to being more in the moment, in the now, as Eckhart Tolle would say. And one of the first things I remember learning, I mean, it seemed instinctive on some respects, but really being told that you need to turn off your thinking mind to get into the moment. And like when you're doing meditation and stuff, people will be like, oh, don't think. But that's not the thinking mind that I'm talking about. I don't think there's an issue with you thinking. If you're being more aware and present in the moment, then you may be very heightened in thinking about how the breeze feels on your skin, or how the chirping of birds in the background is being perceived by your ears, and the color of the day, the scent of the area, that type of stuff. So you might be thinking, but you're not thinking about your past or your future. You're just being present in this moment. Not thinking about how the weather is going to go today, or how the weather was yesterday, or what's going to happen when these clouds start building and the rain comes in. That's all kind of your thinking mind that you need to turn off. I never like to say need, but I've been trying to turn it off to see how that affects my world. And things I've discovered so far, that's supposed to be the focus of this talk. We'll see how focused I stay. But anyway, when you're really present with another person, as one example, you can really listen. So an example of turning off your mind and being present with another person is while they're talking, you're totally listening, observing their body language, observing the sound of their voice, observing the energy of their words and how it affects you. How does it feel as they're talking? And so you're present. You're not thinking, though. You're not thinking about your own story. You're not thinking about what that reminds you of, the words that they're saying. Because if you're listening to someone or you're present with them and your mind goes off for a second, we don't appreciate how disconnected that really is. You start thinking, oh, I want to share this story or tell that, or or that reminds me of whatever this person is putting out there. Gets your thinking mind going in all kinds of directions. It has the potential to do that. I'm suggesting that I not do that, and I would benefit a lot from it, and I really have so far. So that's what I'm trying to kind of give you an update of where I am so far. So back to this point of you're with someone, you're not really present. Another example of this would be, you ever drive and you're going down the road and you're 10 minutes into your drive home from work, and you honestly can't say you remember stopping at that last intersection and turning right, even though you automatically saw the stop sign, you slowed down, you stopped, you saw the road was clear, you made a right-hand turn, you get down to the next traffic light, you stop at the light, and you're like, I don't really recall having just done that turn back there. Because your mind went into autopilot and you were somewhere else. That's that amount of disconnection. Let's just say the stop sign was the person you were supposed to be listening to or communicating with, and you weren't present with that stop sign while you were there. You rolled on through, you did all the customary things, so the stop sign didn't think anything weird of it. This is really a bizarre example, but if you can picture a stop sign not being aware of your disconnect while you stop, because you did all the normal stuff from an outward perception. You slowed down gradually to the stop sign, you stopped, you looked both ways, and you accelerated away at a normal pace from the intersection. But you're in another place altogether in your mind and unaware of even doing it. That's the way we communicate with people around us. Now, if you do that, I don't like to put yous because that's kind of a should. So I'm going to say I was doing that. And I feel like I do it a lot less than anyone I ever am near. Anybody I spend time with, I don't find too many people that are connected more than me. Upon occasion, I'm sure it's happening. I'm sure I've been disconnected, and I don't know if that person was more connected than me or not, because I was disconnected. I wasn't in the moment. But if you are in the moment, if you allow yourself to be in the moment, and you're just present and you're grounded, and you're not thinking about your own story, your own day, your own issues, your own response to what the person's saying or doing or feeling or looking like or whatever it is that's interesting your thinking mind at the moment. If you let all that go and you really practice being present, and you're present with a person, and you're really listening, there's a whole different level of connection, but that's too shallow. It's really, there's some actual points that come out in that you, one, are bringing out a deeper, calmer version of the person, because you're there. Maybe with the end of their story, you leave a blank spot in the conversation. They told you a story or a situation or something that's happened in their life, and you don't have a response immediately because you weren't thinking of your own story while you were listening. That pause in the action of the conversation with another person is almost more important than the words that are spoken, because that gives the sense that I was really listening to what you have to say. Now I'm wondering if you're done talking, and if you want me to give a question. Is it ready, or is it a good, am I feeling the right vibe from this person to say, I wondered what you meant by this or that? Or were they thinking and they want to continue down the same story and they don't want to go back to explain something to you yet? Those kind of little subtleties in a conversation are very difficult for most people to pick up on. And there's a million other ones. There's so many ways that we nonverbal, I remember a long time ago reading something about the percentage of communication that's nonverbal, but it's certainly most. Words are very ineffective at really even describing this stuff that I'm talking about. This kind of stuff you could almost come to some enlightened person, be with them, and they could show you the feeling of these types of things. And I'm trying to put words to them, and it's really not nearly as effective. But I have enjoyed so far really being more connected in the moment, and I just am saddened by the amount of people and situations that I see that are taken away from the interaction with another person by their thinking mind, and consequently it's very ineffective, and it's hurtful, it's cruel sometimes, it's cruel to yourself or to other people what you say, and people just, it's like, oh, you watch somebody say, this is maybe not a great example, but came to mind. So sometimes you ever in a group of people and someone says, oh, Debbie, are you all right? You look really sick. Are you feeling okay? And I would think to myself, why would you say that to somebody like that? Just throw that in their face, like, you seem sick. I don't know how that ever make anybody feel better. And I don't know how, I guess I would say that the better way to communicate that, which is just as simple, is just to ask them if they're okay in a quiet moment, Just, sympathetic. You don't have to say, you look sick. I mean, what if they want to tell you, no, I'm fine, I don't feel sick at all. Why do I look sick? I must. You just said I do. So, anyway, my point is just that I think there's a lot of stuff that happens in the moment that you're missing out on if you're thinking about the past or the future, or wanting this moment even to go a certain way. I want the conversation to go this certain way. I have something I want to say. I have something that I want to respond to about a conversation that was brought up 5 minutes ago, and I want to steer this conversation back to it. So you're not really listening to anyone who's talking at the moment, and you're looking to just put yourself back in the center of the dynamics and steer the conversation in your own direction. So all the while you're waiting for that to happen, or working or vying for that to happen, you're disconnected from everybody around you, and you're wasting a lot of energy, because your mind's constantly thinking about how you're going to move the story back. And then when you tell the story, it doesn't have the impact with the people that it could, because it's not really relevant to exactly where they were in their energy and what they had just said. If somebody's telling you their story, you can ask for the next piece, or keep going, I want to hear more, or how did this feel to you, or however you want to take the conversation deeper. but it's out of pulling and drawing out of the person you're listening to more information, not out about you telling your dialogue, or maybe I'll tell them my view of their scenario that they just shared, and that'll give them some kind of insight. And it's not that that couldn't happen, but it's very rare. Usually it's better just to let the person talk and let them take the conversation in the direction they want to go, and not have a preference which way the conversation goes. Just like it's beneficial to not have a preference where other situations go, where work goes, where your job goes, where your, life goes. You can have a preference for your life to go a certain way, but you can't be addicted to it. You can't be focused on it all the time and be pushing for it all the time. You kind of got to let life come to you. It's a lot easier. Sit down and watch life come to you and deal with it as it comes. Or do you want to go chase it down, running all over the field, trying to pick up the pieces to build a life that you think is what you want it to be? When it's just like, no, just sit down, it all comes to you. That's another example of how being in the moment, feeling life as it's coming to you at the moment, as opposed to worrying about how you're going to keep the life you have now by defending it, or make it better by working in this direction, or getting those other people to do X, Y, or Z, or getting out of whatever relationship is making your life difficult at the time, and all that type of maneuvering to get a different piece of life is very similar to not being connected to the conversation that's happening in front of you. It's a waste of your energy, and it totally undermines what's going on in your life. Most suffering happens in the future. Your mind thinks about what's going to happen and suffers more because of it than the real actual incident. The actual moment is rarely filled with much suffering. It's your thought of the moment coming and your thought of the moment having been here that you're still stuck in, and you can't get out of your thinking mind. So you continue to suffer from a past situation, maybe last week, maybe a minute ago, maybe a year ago, maybe a life ago. So not being present to the moment has a lot of negatives and a lot of positives. Not being present has a lot of negatives, and there's a lot of positives to be gained in your life by being present. And you don't have to sit down and meditate all day. You're in conversations every day with people. Be present with that conversation. Be present while you're driving. Be present while you're sitting. Be present while you're eating. And being present doesn't mean you have to clear your mind and be, meditating the whole time, but just engage with your senses and say, what does it feel like in this room? What does it smell like in this room? What's my chair feel like on my butt? That puts you in the moment. It's like you can't wonder what it used to feel like or future is going to feel like. You have to just say, wait a minute, let me stop my thinking mind for a second and feel my butt and say, oh yeah, that's a wooden chair. I feel it on my butt. And paying attention to your breathing is always a big one. If you can quiet your mind for a second and focus on your breathing, that's very effective and helps you connect to the moment. Obviously, you're in the moment of the breath. I'm actually in the midst of an inhale right now. And now I'm holding it for a split second, and now I'm exhaling. And now I'm getting ready to inhale again. That's being present in the moment. There's no way to be thinking those things and being aware of those things without being present in the moment. You can't be in your thinking mind. That's why we go all day and we don't even remember. Did you ever breathe today? I guess I did. I'm still alive, so I must have. But anyway, those are little ways you can practice being present. But the fruits of being present, I don't know. I think I need another video for that. I think I'm going to have to chop this one up. It got a little long. I've sort of wandered in other directions. Plus, sitting out here in this beautiful water watching these guys fish, I don't think is conducive to my focusing on getting this point across. But anyway, sorry if it's a little long-winded, but I'm going to definitely have to speak a whole lot more on the power of now. It's such a great book. I love that term. And that's it for now. Love you guys. See ya.